What about now?
Juice me up
Before you go. Fruity fabity sheebity boo.
You can't scat a song that's already wrong. Damn it.
We're so excited about Inferno. Woo! Okay. I got my phone.
What's up?
Isn't it crazy how we just need our phones all the time?
That's not crazy at all. I think it's crazy for people who choose not to have their phones. Like what? Like you want to be with your thoughts? You fucking weirdo.
What, you don't think the modern world is horrible?
That's
What's wrong with you?
So you gotta be on the phone to
The
be
modern world is an inferno.
Oh, segue of segues.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good.
Welcome to the Low Ceiling.
I'm Pri.
I'm John. Today we're talking about Inferno, the merciful end to the Robert Langdon series.
Oh, I'm bummed out, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you bummed out because it's ending?
Yeah.
Or are you bummed out because of the quality of this movie?
I'm just saying there are 900 Fast and Furious films.
Yeah.
And only 3 of like classic tourism of Europe.
Yeah, I know.
Into like the depths and catacombs and shit. And I don't get to see that anymore.
I haven't watched a Fast and the Furious film since like the second one, but I have to imagine that they don't get into history that much in that series.
Yeah.
You know, the history of the cars, the history of the other stuff. I don't know.
They got need for speed only.
They get into family and cars.
Boo.
And
Hate
stuff.
that for me.
So I am tired because
Why?
I have to work at a job now.
Oh,
And
no.
you know what something I've really noticed, and I don't know if other people feel this way. You know what I've noticed about working at a job? It really cuts into my leisure time.
You mean you don't do your 5 to 9 before your 9 to 5?
No.
Okay, you're missing out on
'Cause
hustle culture, babe.
I have
I've
to
heard
go
it's-
to a job. I have to go to a place to do a job, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate to have to do that in this economy.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is your personal inferno.
But the good news is I get paid money in exchange for my services, which is another thing I've
world.
noticed about the job, which only slightly balances out the fact that I have much less time to jam my D at home.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm tired. And we watched Inferno like a week ago, it feels like. So it feels like a million years, and I don't care to remember much about it.
Yeah.
But
a lot has happened for you personally.
Yeah.
And every hour is accounted for in your time.
Frankly, my personal journey is really important
To
for
you.
other people to hear
Oh,
about.
great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to me, but more importantly to other people. It's really important to other people that
yeah.
they hear about my personal journey.
Why don't you put it on your Substack? Pass it on to the people.
Yeah, so Inferno is not good. It's terrible. And when it came out, like, okay, maybe it's not terrible, but when it came out, I wasn't going to see it, obviously, but it is a movie that I read some reviews, and the gist of the reviews were like, please stop torturing us with this nonsense.
Yeah.
Which reminds me a lot of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
What?
But Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them gets better. Every film gets better as it goes on.
Which is surprising.
And yet people are still begging to not be tortured with it.
Yeah.
And these movies, just Inferno is so bad. And it's so clearly the end of the Robert Langdon series.
I love the Robert Langdon series.
Yeah.
And big fan of Tom Hanks in different hairstyles. First the mullet. I think this is his most normal hair. I think it's probably his real hair in Inferno.
Mm-hmm.
And for those reasons, this movie tanked.
That's because of Hanks's hair?
That's the only
Is this a real hair thing? Yeah.
I have. But also, how much worse do you think this movie is compared to National Treasure 2?
National Treasure at least tries to find some like joy in itself, whereas like this movie is like really serious.
This is a very dark film.
It's a really dark movie.
Yes.
And it's like, unfortunately, I think this works against it, is that it's a movie and a story that I'm sure like this is not, I wouldn't put squarely on the shoulders of like Ron Howard and David Koepp who wrote it, but like it's a movie where Dan Brown has written this story that's supposed to have some sort of like social import, it seems, but they never really delve into it in the movie. Like the Ben Foster's character is like this like TED Talky guy who's like, hey, did you know this horrible thing is happening on Earth? And it's like, no, but fucking thanks for telling me this now, you know?
Yeah.
And it, you know, like he's making this argument about overpopulation and stuff like that. And then he's like, my solution is the craziest shit you've ever heard. And it's like, oh, okay. But it's like a movie where the basis is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
what does overpopulation mean for the Earth? What's the carrying capacity of the Earth? This is something people have thought about for like decades, you know, and yet they never really go into it. They just, the villain and ultimately Felicity Jones, the you know, the actor of the villain, they're just kind of like, overpopulation's so bad. And there's no one who's like, yeah, but here's the other side of that argument. They're just like, oh, but I don't want to die, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's so funny, like, because a lot of this has to do, Ben Foster's characters, who's a mega billionaire, has this ultimate solution for culling population.
Yeah.
Right? And there's this mathematician in real life who talked about like watching this film, a college professor who was given...
Robert Langdon.
Is it Langdon?
No.
Okay, get the fuck out of here. Fuck, I'm so gullible. I'm the first to go in this culling of population people. That guy, he like watched the film and then he says that he gave a lecture 1,700 times on the topic of like exponential mathematics, and people still kind of fail to understand. And COVID is a good example of like, if one person gets the virus and you spread it, it like doubles every time. And the quickness with which you can go from whatever, the 1 minute to midnight analogy, where if your glass is like only half full at 12:30,
the glass is half full at 11:59, and then at midnight it's full.
Right, exactly. And it's like so little time to like to get to a catastrophic place. That point is so beautifully made in this film through that exposition of like Ben Foster's speech. Yeah, that I wish they like hinted at that shit more. I wish they showed more calamities, like real world shit.
Right. It's weird. It's
as
funny.
Part of that.
Yeah, they don't. It's like they don't provide examples.
No, there's no real world nothing. It's all like philosophizing about hell, and
they're just kind of like, they take for granted that the audience understands that Earth's overpopulation is a bad thing. Whereas like okay, don't quote me on this because I don't know for sure, but from what I've read about this issue about overpopulation is like the Earth's carrying capacity is a lot higher than what people think it is. Because people think like there's like 9 billion humans now or whatever. And that's, I would say, 4 billion too many. No, like like there's like 9 billion humans or whatever, and people are like, oh, like 10 or 11 is like the carrying capacity of the Earth. And then other people are like, no, it's probably a lot higher than that, and we'll probably die from climate change before we die from like not having wheat or whatever, you know. But climate change actually accelerates it more, and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So there's like other problems that are more substantial. But yeah, in this movie, they just kind of take for granted that the audience understands what that all means for them, you know? Like, I mean, I don't know. I consider myself like fairly intelligent, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know what that means outside of like all of these other issues that are a problem too. You know? Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, it took 100,000 years for the population to go from, let's say, 1 billion to 2 billion, but only like 10 years or so, or 30 years to like triple that.
Yeah. But he's also not taking into account how much fucking there was. There's more fucking. just people were just getting dirty in the streets. And that was like a bigger thing in that time frame. It was like people, because people were like, oh, there's condoms and stuff, but condoms break. Condoms break, actually, people don't know this. Condoms break 80% of the time. They're not effective. Now I'm just spreading misinformation.
Oh my God. You should have seen my face. Just like, the condom, this is my Inferno.
Big Condom is trying to inform you that they're effective 98% of the time. And that's not true, actually. They're effective 20% of the time.
Big Condom is just such a great name for a politician condom. You hate.
I would love the idea of a conspiracy theory around like the condom manufacturer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Latex is actually good for the ladies.
Like what? Like I just imagine like an RFK Jr. like. He's how he's super focused on like food dyes and shit like that.
Yeah.
But if he was like super focused on the condom industry and was just kind of like, actually you can use one like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And they just keep wanting you to buy more and more. That is the kind of conspiratorial thinking that like these movies promote, I think, which is one of my favorite things about them.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
One thing about this movie that I did find really poignant and kind of entertaining, among the many things that aren't poignant or entertaining about it, is, okay, I'm going to back up a little bit. How many people do you think died of COVID? Just
2 million?
Guess. Yeah. Okay, when I was thinking about this at my job, where I was super busy, I was like doing like real work and stuff, but I was super busy, but I was like, how many people did die of COVID? I was like, I don't know, 1 million? Maybe 1 million?
Yeah.
That's tiny in the grand scheme of things.
Sure.
It's horrible, but it's tiny.
Yeah.
7 million is like the official
global
figure. Yeah,
total?
Is the what the counter is at right now.
Okay.
But like and this is from Wikipedia, and people were like, oh, the estimates may be like way higher.
Yeah.
Like we don't really know.
Even if it's triple.
Yeah, that's still a small amount in the grand scheme of the world, but like 7 million is a shit ton of people. Like it's a lot of dead people, and it's awful. It was a whole pandemic. I don't know if people remember that. Something that COVID did was accelerate a lot of conspiratorial thinking from people who are super smart and like like you know what I mean? Like there's all these conspiracy theories about the WHO and stuff. In this movie,
oh boy,
the WHO is like this weird cop organization who like can chase Robert Langdon through the streets of Florence and stuff. It's like they're this weird militarized organization that's like, we care about your health. Now get down on your fucking knees.
And they break down a door and they got like fucking AK-47s in their hands.
I swear to fucking God, when you see, it's hard to not draw connections between like movies and real life, especially with conspiracy theories, because so many things like QAnon has so many like film references embedded in it that like created that conspiracy theory. So it's so hard to not think that after we've gone through the pandemic being like, this is where so many people's conception of what the WHO might have come from.
Oh my God.
Which is so wild.
Dude, do you remember how fucking crazy paranoid people got after watching the movie Contagion during COVID?
Yeah.
Every scene is a parallel to like the location, where in China it started, how it spread, how the animal connection was made at a wet market.
There was a bat.
Yeah. Every fucking thing.
Actually, it started at a casino in Contagion, so
from an American, no less. God damn it!
Well, it was actually the chef didn't wash his hands, and then Gwyneth Paltrow.
The problem of all time.
Gwyneth Paltrow was like, "Oh, I want to eat I want to meet the chef because I loved this bat dish.
I love
so
this
much,
goop so
which
much."
Is so crazy because Gwyneth Paltrow would never eat a bat, even though I'm sure she's doing it in her free time.
Yeah,
but in a movie, it's like she's all vague and
some bullshit.
Anyway, it's. Yeah, like in this movie, it's just so funny to see that it's like the World Health Organization is like here, freeze motherfucker, we all have guns and shit. Like it's so cool. Which and maybe they do have a force of people who are like, you have to go out and chase someone like a bioterrorist or something. Don't forget your WHO badge to be like, get down on your knees. But like,
who are you?
Maybe they do. But at least in my conception of them, learning everything I know about them from COVID is like they're just kind of like, COVID's really bad. Please wear a mask and wash your hands. And everyone's like, no.
Yeah. It's like any other fucking bureaucratic organization, right? There's lots of people who have to do lots of paperwork, and then some of them have to unfortunately be in front of a camera.
And a lot of them are like doctors, and they're just like, oh man, I just want to go back to my quiet life of titrating things in a chemistry lab.
Oh my God.
Instead of like getting up in front of like people who are like, bah, you're all sheep. Like, yeah. It's kind of it's so funny because after COVID, it's like like those people were like doctors and scientists are like so prestigious and kind of mysterious too. And now they're just like, God, we have the most thankless job on earth. You know, besides maybe a flight attendant. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah. So
another one of my favorite conspiracies in this movie is Tom Hanks has like short-term amnesia. And so he has to like refer to his Gmail account.
What a fucking trope.
So he goes through like his emails and he's scrolling down, and each email is from a different person. Like there's a new name every time. Not one spam.
Not one spam. No.
Not one like, hey, subscribe to Adidas shoes or whatever.
Yeah. Not one. Yeah. Not one like sales email.
No, nothing. Yeah. They're all like Thomas Kirk, Abdul Rahim, like John. Like it's like what.
It's so frustrating because you're like, oh, here's this guy like fomenting nice, kind relationships with other colleagues. What a jerk. But like nothing from like an organization.
Nothing. Every email is like, hey, to your health and, you know, good. Well,
nothing from a bank.
Come on.
You know,
man.
Come on, dude. Are you an inbox zero type of person?
Yeah.
Like, do you read all of like, or you have to have them?
I
all
have to
read?
have it clean.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
People who don't do that are psychopaths.
Like having just like a floating 900 plus emails unread, and what the fuck? Get your life together.
900. That's like what they must have started their Gmail account last week. You're being conservative. Like I've seen people with thousands. I wonder if Ron Howard and Tom Hanks had like a deep discussion about being like, all right, is Langdon an inbox zero guy? Is he a little more chaotic?
I think he is an inbox zero guy.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think Ron Howard would definitely be like, I don't know, because if he didn't read all of his emails, I would think he was a complete psychopath. Yeah.
If anything, Ron Howard seems like a million unread emails guy.
I would have to guess, and maybe I'm biased a little bit, but I would have to guess that if you're like a film director, you're pretty organized.
Yeah.
And Ron Howard, considering all he ever wears is like a ball cap, a vest, and a polo shirt, he seems like if he wasn't directing feature films, he would be kind of middle management at a huge company, but everyone would love him because he's such a dad.
Yeah.
But he seems like a guy who's very organized.
Hell yeah.
And also if you're like, you know, I'm sure there's some directors out there like Doug Liman who are chaos machines, but you know, most directors have to be pretty fucking on top of things. And if they don't, like, if I was a director and I had an assistant who had to check and read my emails, I'd be like, I don't want to see a single red notification. You have to get through all of this.
Or I will shoot up this fucking building.
Read me that email from my bank again. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But the more disturbing thing is that Robert Langdon doesn't have two-factor authentication on his Gmail when he signs in. Yeah.
No, he lives in a lawless wasteland that is as good as Dante's hell. So, of course,
some bullshit. Yeah, like this, it's unfortunate because I do kind of think like the first 15 minutes of this movie, despite just the trope of Langdon having lost his memory, which is such like a whatever, it's actually kind of good.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind it. I like the kind of beginning of it, the mystery being like, why did I lose my memory? Why am I thinking of Dante's Inferno? Blah, blah, blah. And then it's like when the chase kind of truly starts, it kind of starts, okay, I'm not feeling this anymore. Yeah.
Do you think Robert Langdon is in the same universe as Avengers Infinity War comics, where Thanos is like big into COVID conspiracy? And they're both just like, we have to cull the population. I feel like, I don't know, one may have inspired the other.
I know that you've explained this to me before. Why does Thanos want to cull the population? Like, what's his purpose?
He wants to bring it down to half so that...
Why?
Well, through loss, you can learn more about preserving what you have.
Okay.
He thinks people are a plague on the planet.
Humans.
So,
like, he's like a multi-dimensional universal monster. And he thinks this one planet is the problem.
I think it's all across the galaxy. Not just Earth.
Oh, right.
I think it's like other alien. Like he's done this from like planet to planet. He's gone to different worlds and done it. And I think that's where he picked up Gamora.
Even those weird cat things from the Eternals. He went to their universe and he snapped them.
Yeah, he went to Planet Mushroom and like stepped on half the mushrooms and let the other half live.
I've always felt, and I haven't seen those movies, so I don't know. But like I've always like it. Whenever I hear like Thanos and the reason, I'm always like, why? Like I just don't understand why.
Yeah.
And very similarly to Ben Foster as the villain in this movie, I'm just kind of like, I don't care enough about what you think is the problem.
Yeah.
Like, and then the thing is like they set him up during the opening credits. You see this guy, which I like, which is cool.
Yeah.
And then the first scene of the film is him fucking high diving off a tower and dying, and you're just kind of like, oh, I guess I won't learn.
Yeah,
either.
dude.
Yeah.
And also the whole time I'm like, oh, maybe he has a twin. Maybe it's not the real guy. Maybe he staged his death.
It's a little bit of a bummer that Ben Foster doesn't get more time, because Ben Foster's
Straight
such a
up
good
dead.
fucking actor.
Yeah.
And these movies are so hammy, and he could really have the opportunity to go ham on these films.
Fuck.
But instead we've given, and I like her, but Felicity Jones, and she's just not quite as compelling.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
Certainly not in this film. Yeah. This ain't no Rogue One, I'll tell you that. But yeah.
Nice try, Felicity. That is your real name.
Yeah.
Felicitations, Jones.
That's it.
Your heart, it kind of reflects the 23% this movie got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely like, you don't go out with a bang, you go out with a whimper kind of vibe.
Man, it was still like, for me, the visuals of Tom Hanks's opening scene where he's having these dreams or these visions of hell, and it's like blood flowing through the streets and people who have deformed, like, I don't know, heads turned around backwards. And
I think that stuff's cool.
all
like
that
it.
shit, it like comes and goes in the first maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And you kind of get like, it's too much. Okay. And it's cool. But like it's kind of relentless how much they're trying to push the agenda that, okay, this is the hell that you can expect to be in if you read a Dan Brown book. It's like, you can't escape it.
Yeah, it's the feeling you have reading a Dan Brown book, certainly.
And then there's I get the bunch of like bullshit chase scenes and the fighting and all that. But the thing with Angels and Demons is that you had an agenda because you're on a clock. You have to get to that shit. The audience is aware of the timer.
They're on a clock on this one too.
But it's never made apparent how much of a important time is in this.
It feels a lot like it feels unlike Angels and Demons. It feels a lot like the plot moves forward just as they solve the mysteries. So they're like they're actually making the timer move kind of instead of working against the timer, which creates this feeling of like non-tension a little bit, because like you don't really know. Like in Angels and Demons, you're like, oh, midnight is the time. They have like a couple hours basically. Whereas in this movie, you're kind of like, they're going to set off this bomb. And yet again, there's like this scavenger hunt they have to solve to figure it out. And you're just like, why? Like, and so can you tell me if I'm right about this? Felicity Jones, the big twist is that Felicity Jones ends up being a disciple of Ben Foster.
Dun, dun,
and
dun.
by a disciple, I mean she was getting dicked down by Ben Foster.
She was the Grimes to the Elon Musk, basically.
Yeah, she was Ben Foster's Grimes. And when he jumped off the tower, she was like, oh, that sucks, but I still want to kill half the world.
Yeah.
But she needs Robert Langdon to solve the mystery so she can figure out where the bomb is, which is in Istanbul. Correct?
Yes. Because Ben Foster's character didn't tell her.
Yeah, but he left like this mystery, and she's like, I'm too dumb to solve this. and
she's this like super genius who went to college at age 10 or something, right?
She's like a puzzle, and she was like into puzzles, and she saw Robert Langdon, blah blah blah. But that's correct, right? She basically uses Langdon to figure it out, so that then she can trap him in that little hole that they're in, and then
exactly.
Because like when that twist happened, I was kind of like, wait. If she's his disciple, why does she need him at all? And then I was like, all right, I kind of get it. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Ron Howard, he thought this through.
Yeah.
And, the books, etc. Oh, I read somewhere that, and I'm only now making the fucking connection because we've always been like, what world is Robert Langdon in if the police are always like, oh, remember that other thing you solved? And we're just like, it's the first movie, the second, what the fuck is happening? Apparently, the first movie, Da Vinci Code, has some timeline placements from the second book. And the second movie has like timeline placements from the third book.
What do you mean time? What do you mean by that?
Like the events of Angels and Demons have happened before Da Vinci Code.
Yes, that's what I said when we watched.
Right?
Yeah.
And the same thing is for this one as well. Like,
because this is a prequel to Da Vinci Code as well.
I think it's whatever the fourth book that didn't get made into
Symbol.
a movie. The Lost Symbol. This is supposed to be after Lost Symbol. Anyway.
Well, it is.
Fuck, I'm already fucking this up. Wait, I found it.
Because, okay, here's how the books go. Angels and Demons.
Correct.
Da Vinci Code.
Yes.
The Lost Symbol. Inferno.
Right. And now it's supposed to be Inferno and the Lost Symbol.
But the Lost Symbol, they decided never to make it.
Correct.
And it got made into a miniseries.
Yeah.
But Ron Howard was not involved. And then they decided to make Inferno. Inexplicably, I don't know why.
God damn it.
But, yeah.
Do you know, and there's a secret fifth?
There was a book that came out. It's not a secret.
Oh.
He's Dan Brown.
Damn it, conspiracy.
There is a book.
Okay.
There is a fifth Robert Langdon book
Yeah.
that came out the year after Inferno. The film came out.
Yeah.
And so they haven't made it yet.
Okay, so there is hope yet.
Let's look. I want to see.
Look,
See if they're going to make it.
Ron Howard, how old are you? I want to look that up. Because I want him to be the one to.
Ron Howard
make
is
it.
like in his 60s at least.
Oh, he's a baby then. 70. All right, baby adjacent.
Okay, there is a book that came out in 2017 called Origin by Dan Brown. It's the fifth installment in the Robert Langdon series.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, set in Spain, Sharjah, and Budapest.
Oh my God.
There is no news on the Wikipedia about whether it's going to get adapted, but one could imagine they would do that because places make,
yeah, dude.
silly decisions like that, despite the fact that everyone feels like these films are torturous messes.
I love that one of the searches on Google is like, what are Robert Langdon's, Dan Brown's books? What is Dan Brown's last book? And the next question is Dan Brown done writing?
He wrote a book in like 2020, I think. He wrote like a children's book, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he wrote a children's book in 2020 called Wild Symphony. I keep abreast of the publishing industry.
Oh my God. Why do you know so much?
Because I do research for every other podcast episode except for this one, which should have become clear by now. Every other podcast episode we've ever done, I've been the fucking Robert Langdon of the two of us, and you're the Felicity Jones being like, oh, what does that letter mean? Oh, boy.
I'm the Grimes in this relationship.
Hey, Robert, why am I a British person at a hospital in Italy? What is it doing there?
Dude. What the
Okay, this fucking movie though, Irfan Khan, but one of you people.
Yeah, hey.
Yeah.
Irfan Khan, yeah.
Irfan Khan, is that how you say it? Or Urfi is what I call
him. All right. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Died of cancer recently, a young age. He's the best part of this film.
Definitely.
I think he's giving the best performance. Even all due respect to Tom Hanks. Hanks is kind of phoning it in a little bit. He's a little bit like, oh, my head hurts. Oh, man.
I'm mostly tired.
Oh, that's a painting. All right, cool. Oh, damn. Irfan Khan is like, I'm in a Best Picture nominee.
Hell yeah, dude.
However, he also has to acknowledge that the twist surrounding his character is the most infuriatingly absurd twist on Earth. Yeah. It's so dumb, which we can get to in the plot, but like that kind of explains, I think, why Felicity is a doctor in Italy. Yeah. But
I just thought because in Europe you can go anywhere and be anyone.
You can, and that's what makes Europe a better country.
Europe as a country?
Europe as a country, as a singular identity, is a better place for most things.
It's true.
Yes. Yeah, as we know.
Yeah.
As the Robert Langdon series explains, because he's never in America. It's funny because he's an American. He's never there. He always is like in Boston once, and then they're like, "What are you doing? Just move to Oxford or something.
I
Be
know.
much closer."
Oh my God.
And he's like, he was afraid of tight spaces, but he's always on private jets. Like, come on, what are you doing?
I thought they cured him of that shit when, Mary Magdalene of Jesus' descent touched his forehead.
Yeah, Sophie Nive she cured him of the...
And
of
still
the,
he's like, oh, I don't know if I can be in this elevator
No,
right
he
now.
says that in this movie. Doesn't he make a joke about that? He's like, I used to be claustrophobic or something.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, worlds unite.
Yeah, and Felicity Jones was like, you what, mate? But anyway, do you want to talk about the plot of this fucking absurd piece of shit film? Stupid.
I don't understand the hate. I had a quality time.
Oh, I find it enjoyable in a bad, trashy kind of way.
I just don't think 23% is it's too low.
Let's just say though, it's badder and trashier than Da Vinci and Angels and Demons.
Yeah,
those movies are much better in comparison. This one definitely feels like garbage. Yeah.
Yeah. I would still be in the 60s for this cinema.
That's a crazy thing to say.
Well, you wouldn't give it even 50%? Damn.
No, I don't know.
Damn.
I think around a quarter of people like it is a vague enough. Anyway, Inferno, Ron Howard, director, David Koepp. Yeah.
Oh God. Oh no.
All right, so we got Robbie Langdon. He wakes up in Florence. He has amnesia, can't remember stuff. My mind I can't think anymore. I have amnesia at this point. This is, as I said, I'm the Robert Langdon of this podcast. Yeah. This is my Inferno. This
if you
episode.
Had to recollect it without,
I can't. I can't.
Referring to a source.
Okay, here's my recollection. Here's my recollection without looking at it. Robert Langdon has amnesia. He wakes up in a hospital with Felicity Jones.
Yeah.
Irfan Khan says it was all a setup. Then they go to Turkey. That's my recollection of the whole film. Yeah.
Not
everything else is just a vague kind of, yeah, right. Or they were in a ceiling and then someone fell.
What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I watched the fuck out of this movie with full
How many
attention.
times have you seen it? I've only seen it twice in my life.
I'd say twice as well in recent memory. But one, we saw it together in Spain. And then,
so that was the first time you saw it?
I think maybe I saw it as a kid,
Well, as a 26-year-old. It came out in 2016.
Way to age me, dude. Yeah. Holy shit.
I'm sorry.
I was a youth back then.
All right. So he is in Florence. He can't remember. Dr. Sienna Brooks, played by Felicity Jones, is like, hey, you got shot kind of in the head-ish, and I like puzzles. And he keeps having these visions of that are,
hell.
Hell. They're hellish, but then we learn later that they're from who's the painter who did the
Dante.
No, Dante. It's a depiction of Dante's Inferno, and it's Bertinelli or something. All right. Well,
yeah.
Someone painted a depiction of his Inferno.
Yeah.
So there's this Italian cop lady who comes and shoots at them. They escape to Sienna's apartment. They figure out that he has this
pointer.
Well,
device.
They find it in the disease tube. What's it called? The one that the CIA released COVID out of.
Yeah. Vaccine tube?
No, it's a little it has a hazard symbol on it, and then it's fingerprint imprinted, and he has the fingerprint, and a little bat flies out and goes and releases COVID in the world.
Right. Of course. So is that why she needs him? Because only his fingerprint would have worked on it.
See, okay, we'll get to this in the plot because I don't remember what really bothers me is she betrays him later, and then I was kind of like, wait, so she needed him to lead her, blah blah blah, but how did she get involved with Irfan Khan to be part of the whole setup where everything is fake? That's what I don't know, and hopefully Wikipedia can explain
pain
that.
right now, just trying to recollect this.
So are the listeners, and frankly, the world. It's
all right. I
the
take
world
back the
is in
60%.
pain. Yeah.
I'm back down to 49.
So they find the Faraday pointer in the little machine, and it shows a projection of Sandro Botticelli's Map of Hell, which is a painting depicting Dante's Inferno. And the orders are out of order, and there's letters on parts where they shouldn't belong, not in the original, and there's a little note on the side left by Ben Foster's character, who had done a header off the fucking tower in the first scene, which I completely forgot about. That's okay. Thanks, Wikipedia, you fucking piece of shit.
Whoa.
So they find out that Zobrist had like created this super weapon, the Inferno virus, which can kill half the population of the Earth. And that's his plan. He's like, I'm going to release this thing sometime soon, pretty soon.
Yeah.
Just heads up.
Just don't worry about it.
Yeah. Don't worry about it, but worry enough to figure it out.
Yeah. And how is it okay, you know what? We don't need to get into the science of how it only kills half and not the other half.
Yeah, that's called book science. That doesn't matter. Yeah. So they're in Florence and they figure out it all has to do with Dante's Inferno. That's where the name is the title from, blah blah blah. They go to like find his mask, which has a clue on it, and it's owned by Zobrist. He points to the mask. The mask is gone. We find out that Robert Langdon actually stole it with his friend, which I think is the best scene in the film is when when the poor pregnant art curator lady finds out that he stole the mask by watching the video. And
she's like, Professor.
Yeah, she's like, oh, you
Professor,
I can't
what are
believe
you doing?
You're so. And then he just like gently puts her on a chair and is like, don't come after us, please.
Yeah, I didn't remember I was doing that because my head hurts. Just sit down.
Yeah. And all through this too, they're being pursued by like the WHO and the fucking whoever
and their fucking machine guns.
Yeah, yeah.
And the cops and
the French actor who's in Lupin.
Omar
Sy?
Yeah.
Omar Sy?
Yeah.
And then there's a Danish actress who we find out was like Robert Langdon's F buddy.
Lady friend.
Yeah, like it's just so confusing.
They're all just hoping that Langdon is going and doing the right thing, and then only later, halfway through the movie, do they realize, he got banged up pretty quick. Do you think maybe he has concussion and he just lost his memory and now he's fucking running as a free agent?
Mm-hmm.
And so the people who are chasing him then realize, including the WHO, maybe he doesn't know what he's doing and he's just kind of retrace his own steps.
Here's the other thing, right? Is that like the fear is that there are people pursuing him who want to want to take the virus and sell it to the highest bidder, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Omar Sy, working for the WHO, he goes rogue because he decides he wants to do that. Irfan Khan and the Danish lady, they team up to stop this from happening.
Yeah.
And then Felicity Jones turns out to be Ben Foster's mentee. And they figure out that they have to go to Istanbul to stop the virus.
Mm-hmm.
Omar Sy captures Langdon after Felicity Jones leaves. And then Irfan Khan rescues Langdon, telling him they all kind of swap sides, which is like kind of a cool flourish, I guess. But I have to say, Wikipedia does not explain the twist with Irfan Khan being like, we set all of this up.
Yeah.
So I'm still completely confused. Maybe someone else can tell me. I don't think it matters that much. They know that they have to go to Istanbul, and they go into that cistern, and they have an interminably long climactic sequence, which is so boring and takes forever.
They come in with 500 people who could have helped them.
Yeah.
And then when all the shit goes down, it's just like, it's just going to be Tom Hanks.
They just have to put it in a box. And then there's these people who are like, nah. And yet all of the actual WHO cops with weapons are just
with their fucking hazmat suits
where
and
is
everything.
Where is everyone?
No.
Where are the people I work for who said stick by my side?
They're out there beating civilians, okay? That's what they're doing. They're fucking willy-nilly.
The WHO in the other room of the cistern, they're getting everyone who is at that concert performance in an orderly line.
Yeah.
And this is true. This is the only thing that's based on real life. No. They're injecting their neck with COVID and then sending them out into the world. And they're like, all right, everyone go to China so we can blame it on China.
Yeah.
And then they do. And that's how COVID actually happened.
And that's also the plot of JFK, people.
Oh, yeah. We're in the middle of watching JFK. Yeah.
It's been the CIA all along.
JFK, a movie about a conspiracy that actually kind of makes sense. Everything else, not really.
What is that CIA-shaped hand doing coming to my neck?
Babe, the CIA is blameless. It's the WHO. The WHO killed Kennedy.
Right.
They killed John F. Kennedy. And they released COVID. All right? In between there, look, someone did 9/11.
Is that why
I'm not going to say it's in WHO
Oh my God. That's why people are like, who did it? Who indeed? WHO? Who? All right.
Listen, I'm not really into this like wordplay humor that
I'm
you're.
I'm out of here. I'm out
kind
of
of
here.
I'm more of a humorist than that. I can't really.
What did the owl say?
Probably said, "Shut your mouth." Anyway, they lock the virus in a box. It's not just any box; it's a special box. Don't worry, guys. It's where COVID is being kept right now.
IKEA had it perfectly sized. Don't even worry about it.
It's where COVID is being kept right now until everyone gets so tired of Donald Trump that they're like, oh my god, release it again.
Oh my god, release it directly into his mouth.
Can we have another just like lame president? And we don't want this fucking guy. He's he's so crazy.
He's so silly goose jail for that one.
Yeah.
Been too much of a silly goose.
Yeah, and so they lock it in a box. Felicity Jones blows herself up. They manage to gather all the pieces of her body and carry her out in a bag. It is so funny because she has to blow up these charges to explode this bag. It's a really convoluted plot. But she literally like dives face first into an explosive.
Yeah.
And yet they just carry her out in one bag. And I was like, no, those pieces would be everywhere.
Come on. It has to be a much smaller bag. You could carry her out in a little hand, like a little doggy bag at that point.
Like a delivery bag.
Yeah. Ma'am, you ordered some Felicitation Jones.
Ooh, Rogue One, Rogue many pieces.
Rogue none. Right? Damn.
Yeah, sorry, that was some wordplay humor. I'm not really into that, but
I'm kicking you out of this podcast, sir.
And that's Inferno. That's it. If they ever make Origin, we're not seeing it in theaters, but we might cover it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be trapped at the cinemas watching a film like this.
I think Hanks is done. I think he's done with that.
Yeah.
They could only ever do it with Hanks.
They can only get him in a movie where they get to de-age him now. Otherwise, he's not going to do it.
Yeah.
He's like,
that's true.
If I'm not reverse aging every 5 minutes.
Did you say reverse Asian?
Aging. If I'm not, it's not that kind of Dan Brown. Good God.
All right. Yeah, this movie is it's like entertaining, but I just don't.
Yeah, but at what
it leaves
cost?
a bad taste in my mouth. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I'm just kind of like, this one frustrated me a lot. I was like trying to think of things, and I was trying to be like, what do I have to say about this movie? What is so important to say about this film? It's like nothing. This is not that interesting.
It started as like a how-to manual at some point.
Yeah.
With Ben Foster's character Zobrist giving a very impassioned speech. And I love the opening scene. It's all like him kind of catastrophizing and being like, here's all the data.
Like evil TED Talk.
Evil TED Talk, exactly. That we're going to hell, quite literally, people.
Yeah. I don't know, like,
and then the movie did.
Yeah, the movie went straight to Inferno, basically.
Yeah,
but it like I don't know. I just I was gonna say something about it, and then I just completely forgot. Now that's been my whole life.
That's the effect it had on you.
It's working at a job just wrecks your brain because you just have to think about things you don't want to think about.
Oh no!
You think about things that are boring instead of thinking about Inferno, Dan Brown's Inferno, the excitement of it.
Yeah.
And I'm all like, oh, I'm tired.
You know what? If Inferno can't wake you up, nothing can. If a Dan Brown journey through Europe is like kind of boring at this point. You're
absolutely right. And I think it's just a steady descent into the grave from here.
Hello, Dante.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. You can tell that this movie sucks because it's the only one that wasn't banned anywhere. It's the only one of this series that Samoa was like, no, we're cool with it.
Dude, look, we started playing this movie at the same time we started recording, and they're already at the scene where he's about to get found out for stealing the mask. Tom Hanks.
That's the best scene.
His character. Or someone's going to fall through a fucking roof. Who knows? Although while watching it, I thought it took maybe 2 hours just to get to this point.
There's a lot of setup. And
My
I have
God.
to the weird thing is like I do think the first like 20-ish minutes or so are interesting, and they're probably the least traditionally exciting parts of the film.
Yeah.
But once they, much like Da Vinci Code, once they start kind of like getting chased and stuff, like there's like a scene where they're being chased by a drone around the Boboli Gardens, and you're just like, fucking kill me. I hate this so much. I hate that scene so much. And I'm just, it's so dumb. And look, Ron Howard, bless your fucking heart and stuff, but you could, right, this is like 2016, and that scene with the drone, you're just kind of like, I know just you were just excited about drone technology.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you got to put a camera on it. You got to
Yeah.
do like that's cool. Like I don't mind that, but it's just and Tom Hanks is like he's like 60, so it's like he's not gonna have a lot of big running chases and whatever. It's just so dumb.
They're like, oh, good thing we're in a maze. We can just hide around this bush.
And I love it. My favorite resolution of that, and I don't know if this is true, but I hope it is he's just like, yeah, but there's this secret door. He's like, go through the secret door.
Fucking hell, dude. There's so much, what is it called, a MacGuffin?
Deus Ex Machina in that case, I think is what you're talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just like, oh, good, a holy save. Perfect.
Yeah.
Didn't need to go nowhere.
Yeah, good thing this secret thing that doesn't really exist exists. It's a
right
perfect
there.
opportunity. Dan Brown, what we're saying is really just the J.K. Rowling of his time. Anyway, thank you for listening so much. That's the end of the Robert Langdon series. Angels and Demons still the best one. I think we can agree with that.
Hell yeah. Until Origins. And then you'll hear from us again.
Until Origins, starring Austin Butler and Florence Pugh. I thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Thank you.